Peugeot's e-2008 delivers the full EV formula to the smallest segment of the SUV market, and in a trendy, very lifestyle-orientated package. It looks snappy, does 193 miles between charges, has no practicality downsides over the combustion engine version, and comes with monthly payment finance you could justify. In short, there's plenty to like.
The tech spec here is predictably the same as you'll get in an e-2008, so as there, a 100 kilowatt electric motor putting out 136 bhp works through the usual single-speed auto transmission that you get with all EVs. As usual with a battery-powered model, all the available torque is pretty much developed at once. There's 260 newton meters of that, and this car simply hurls itself away from rest. It takes only a couple of seconds to crest the 30 miles an hour mark, and 60 is reached in just 8.5 seconds. And that disguises the fact that also, like all EVs, this zero emissions variant does have a bit of a weight problem. That drivetrain adds over 300 kilos of bulk. On top of that, this model's 50 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery is significantly smaller than the 64 kilowatt-hour one that you'll find in, say, a Kia e-Niro or a Hyundai Kona electric, which accounts for the fact that this French EV crossover can't travel quite as far on a single charge as those two rivals. Still, just under 200 miles of electrified drive capability will probably be ample for most likely family buyers. Ride quality is pretty good, providing you avoid the largest 18-inch wheel sizes that we have here. Those big rims do fill the arches better, but they give the ride a rather more brittle feel. The all-electric e-2008 is pretty difficult to distinguish from what Peugeot calls its thermic-powered models, although brand loyalists might spot this EV variant's colour-coded front grille, its subtle E-badging and a more unusual dichroic finish for the lion badge that appears to change colour depending on your viewing angle. Inside, there's the usual 2008 iCockpit driving position format, where you view the instrument binnacle over the upper rim of a tiny steering wheel rather than conventionally through the wheel spokes. Plus, as with the other versions of this model, the concept's been further developed with the addition of a clever 3D instrument binnacle display. What else? Well, rear passenger space is much better than in an e-2008, but still slightly compromised by the need to place the powertrain's battery pack beneath the back seat. Still, even with a 6-foot tall driver up front, someone of similar height could sit behind comfortably. The EV drive layout doesn't compromise boot space, which is 434 litres in capacity, just like any other 2008, and it's extendable to 1,467 litres with the back seat folded. What about running costs and charging? Well, bear in mind that the quoted 193-mile range figure we quoted earlier will only be distantly possible if you engage a somewhat restrictive eco mode, which drops power output from 136 brake horsepower right down to 83 bhp. Charging from empty via a garage wall box takes 7.5 hours. If your property happens to have a 3-phase electricity supply and you pay extra to have your e-2008's standard 7.4 kilowatt onboard charger upgraded to 11 kilowatt spec, that charging time can be reduced to just 5 hours. With a public 50 kilowatt rapid charger, the replenishment time to charge from 15 to 80% is 45 minutes. You can see why someone might really like the idea of an e-2008. It has all the style of Peugeot's e-2008 Super Mini, but with a significant amount of extra practicality. It's considerably more stylish than similarly sized EV crossover rivals from Kia and Hyundai, and it's quite a lot cheaper than a BMW i3. But you've still really got to have bought into the whole idea of having an EV to want one. Even if you have, you've still got to really like quirky Peugeot innovations, like the unusual iCockpit steering wheel and the 3D instrument setup. But we think cars like this one need design touches of that sort. Models of this kind ought to be fashionable, forward-thinking, and just a little controversial. The e-2008 is, and if you are too, and you can afford to make the price jump to a full EV, we think you'll like this a lot.